Hey everyone, this is BremSter, and tonight I'm coming to you with a puzzle from the World of Sudoku Volume 8. Yes, I have permission to do one of the puzzles from the book. Now, this is Diagonal Outside Sudoku number 11. And while I'm bringing this to you in Sudoku Pad, the puzzles in the book have been presented in Penpa, and I'm using a conversion tool that allows me to open Penpa puzzles in Sudoku Pad. So I'm providing the Sudoku Pad link. Now, one of the things that I do want to call out for reasons, which I won't go into, is be aware that the time in the book there is times of that were solved by someone who has competed in the World Sudoku Championships, and if you do not come close to this person's time, don't feel bad about it. Do not feel that you are not a good solver or that you are, you're useless if you cannot get there. I won't go into reasons why, but just because you cannot solve one of these puzzles in the phenomenally fast times that are listed in the book doesn't mean that you're not a good solver, or that you're a failure or anything. These are literally listed as these are the times that one of the better solvers in the world was able to do. They are something to aspire to. They're not something to try and chase. It's like, trying to run the 100 meters as fast as Usain Bolt. You're not going to do it, but turning around and going, I was, four times as far. I took four times as long. Still pretty good. Don't worry about that. So as of this video coming out, I am closing the, if you submit or recommend, you'll win copies of the book. But I may continue I'm looking at possibly continuing to do things like providing puzzle books or something to people who do submit as a bit of a reward or something, particularly new submitters or people who don't submit very often. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that one out. Let's have a look at the puzzle, shall we? This is from the book. Now, on the difficulty, one of the things that the book does do is by the solving time of this expert solver, the difficulties do ramp up, and some of them do take a fair bit longer than others. Some of them he solves in like 2 or 3 minutes. Others take 20. This one I think took about 16 minutes, and they're rated by difficulty. Within each constraint, they're numbered from 1 to 12, and the bigger the number, the harder they are. Now, I've only done puzzles numbered up to about 5, I think, is the highest number I've done from the book. I've been jumping between the constraints while I've been playing with it myself. And Akash suggested I do an 11. So this is an 11, and I do not know how long this one is going to take me, but I'm expecting a significant difficulty increase, which I may or may not hit. In some of these other books, I was expecting significant increases, and some of them just sang for me, so I don't know. So this is a variant of one of my favorite constraints. So one of my favorite constraints is the outside constraint. I'm not going to go into that one. I'm just going to cover the rules for this one. So, how does this one work? Normal Sudoku rules or classic Sudoku rules apply. So, in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We also have diagonal outside rules. And what that means is where you've got these diagonal clues, the digits listed on the diagonal clue must appear at in the first 3 cells in that direction. So there will be a 3 and a 6 in those 3 cells. There will be a 4 and an 8 in those 3 cells. There will be a 1, 5, 9 in those 3 cells. There will be a 2, 3, 8 in those 3 cells. It's basically giving you some given digits, sort of, maybe. But that's the way this constraint works. As I said I wouldn't say that, but in normal outside, they're just listed beside and they point in the rows and the columns. This is doing it on the diagonals, and I've actually done a few of the easier ones on this, and I found it's really interesting the way this logic works. So that's how the puzzle works. As of this being out, the book should the entire book should now be available on Amazon and PayHip. I will put a link to Akash Doulani's blog below where you'll be able to find those links to Amazon and PayHip. I believe it's going to be about $9 US for the physical and about $6.50 for the PDF. But don't quote me on those prices. This is a believe. I also see things in Australian dollars, not US, so I'm converting back and all sorts of weird stuff like that. So if the price is wrong, I'm sorry, but what you find on the sites, if it's not out yet, then there's just been some processing delay, and it should be out very, very soon. So let's restart the puzzle to restart the timer. Let's give this a shot. So what we can immediately see, and this is a logic you can use on a few of these. Let me see where I'm looking. So if I look, for example, at this box, I can see that 149 has to go into these three cells, 149, and 247 has to go into these. So the only crossover there is 4, and 4 has to go in the middle. So these become 1 and 9, and these become 2 and 7. I need to put 2 3s into here. Now I can only put 1 3 in here, so this becomes a 3, and I have to put a 3 here. Now these contain a 3, a 5, and a 7, and I can't put a 3 into either of those cells, because if I put a 3 here, I can't put the second 3 here, and if I put a 3 here, I'm conflicting. So this is the 3, and these become a 5 7, but I've got a 2 7 pair in this box, so this becomes the 5, this becomes the 7, which means this becomes the 2, and this becomes a 7. This is now a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, and 8. So that, and these are the sort of things I find when I'm solving these, just sort of happens. It just sort of ticks along. So for example, I need to put a 3 on this diagonal, but I can't put it there, and I can't put it there. So this becomes a 3, and I know I've got a 6 in one of those two. Right. Now, got to put a 4 and an 8 in those. Not convinced that's that useful yet. I need to put a 4 on that diagonal, but I can't put it in the middle. So one of those is a 4. Now I've got to put a 4 into those 3 cells, but I can't put it here, or I'd knock the 4 out of those. So there's a 4 in one of those two. This is just 1, 2, 3. Whoops, not that. This is just 1, 2, 3. That's useful. And this is 3, 6, 9. So I can do the same thing. Where does the 3 go? The 3 has to go in the middle. If I put it here, I don't have a 3 on this 1, 2, 3. So this is a 1, 2. This is a 6, 9. Right. Now I need to put a 3 onto this diagonal, and I can't put it into either of those. So this becomes the 3, and I have to put a 7 into one of these two. Now this is now restricted. Can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 5. Can't be 6, 7. It could be 8, and it can't be 9. So this is only 5 or 8. Now, there will be other deductions to make. I can probably do the same in this box, to be honest. So there is an overlap between the two, and that has to be the 5, because there's a 5 in here and a 5 in here. So this becomes 4, 6, and this becomes 7, 9. I can use this 7 to resolve the 9 and the 7. 3 now has to go in one of those two, because this 3 knocks 3 out of those. So 3 goes in one of those, and 3 goes in one of those two. Now this is 2, 3, 8 in here, but I could put 3 in either of those two. But I do know these are 2, 3, 8 without that being a 3. Need to put a 2 and a 4 on here, but I'm not sure that's helping me yet. Got to put a 1 in one of those two, because these are 1, 2, 3, and 8. Okay, this can't be a 2, because if this is a 2, I can't put a 2 on that diagonal. So this is just a 3 or an 8. I can do the same here, of course. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 5, 9. There's a crossover. So these are 2 and 3, and these are 5 and 9. Now there's a 4 and a 6 in those. Right, this is starting to get a little bit more tricky, which I kind of expected. There's a 5 in one of those two, because there has to be a 5 on the diagonal, and it can't be in the middle. There's a 2 and a 4 in here. Well, I can't put a 4 in either of those two, because it would break the 4, 6. So this becomes a 4, so this becomes a 6, and this becomes a 4. So these are 1, 2, 3, 8. There's no 2 here. So this is 1, 3, or 8 only. But there has to be a 2 in these 3 cells, and I can't put a 2 there now. This is the 2. There's no 2 here. This is 1, 3, or 8. and it's not 3. This is just a 1 or an 8. That's nifty. And that's got me my 2 and my 4. 2, 3, 8 is still good. These can't be the same. That could be important. Need to put a 2 in here. So there's a 2 in one of those two. And there's a 5 in one of those two. Right. One of those two has to be a 5 because there's a 5 in one of those two because it has to be on the diagonal and can't be in the middle. And there's a 5 in one of those two because it has to be here in one of the middle. So I can't put a 5 in any of those or any of those. So there has to be a 5 in one of those two. Now 4 and 8 in here. Well, this 4 means that's not the 4 and this is the 4, and I need to put an 8 in one of those. Getting trickier. Four and 8 in one of those, but I can't put the 4 there. So there's a 4 in one of those two. And there's a 4 in one of... Hang on, but wait a minute. There's a 4 in one of those two because of this 4 knocking 4 out of here. In fact, whoa, 4 is in one of those 3. Now, these are 4, 6, 7, and 8. 4, 6, 7, and 8. So these are just from 6, 7, and 8. I can put a 4 there, though. I think. I think I can. So 3 in one of those two. If that's a 3, then that's a 3. Is that a problem? Then that would be a 3. Don't see. So 3 is in one of the corners of this box. None of these clues ever reach the middle box, which is always interesting. So these are 5, 7, and 8. One of those two has to be an 8. Two is right there. This is a 2 because I can't put 2 in any of those without breaking the 2, 3 pair, and I can't put 2 in any of those. So 2 has to be in one of those 3, but there's 2 2s seeing that. So that is a 2. So this is 1, 3, 8, and 9. But I'm not sure what that's doing. I can't put 9 in any of those. 9 is the same. 9 has to go in one of those two. If I put 9 in any of those, then I've broken it. If I put 9 in any of those, then I've broken it. 9 is in one of those two, which means neither of those are 9. This is a 1, 3, 8 triple. That's an... I've broken the puzzle. No, let me do this again. There is a 9 here, so this is a 1 and this is a 9. This is what happens when you scan badly. This is a 1, this is a 9. That 9 had done that ages ago and I just missed it. So what are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, and 8. So there's a 4 in one of those two, but that 4 looks up meaning that's not the 4 and this is the 4. Okay, which means that's not the 4. This is the 4, which means that's not the 4. Now that's got me the 4 on this. Doesn't mean this can't be. But one of these two is an 8 now, which means this can't be an 8. Because if this is an 8, I couldn't put 8 in either of those two cells. So this here is not an 8. Which means 8 is in one of those two. That's nifty. So 4. So this can't be 3 or 8 because it sees both of those cells. So it can be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5, can be 6, can't be 7, 8. Oh, it can't be 8 because it sees the 8s here. 1, 6, or 9 only? Damn, I was hoping it'd be more restricted. That can't be an 8 because I have to put an 8 on this diagonal in those 3 cells. Can't be there because that's a 4. And if I put an 8 here, it sees both of those. So this can't be an 8. That's a 5. That's really cool. I like that. So this is not the 5. This is not the 5. This is a 7-8 pair. That 5 does that not a 5, and this is a 5, which means this is not a 5. The 5 on this diagonal now is here. Now that means this has to be the 2 because I have to put 2 in one of those 2 and I can't put it there. This is the 2 which took the place of a 4. This is now the 4. The 5 also took the place of a 3 because the 3, because of the 3's here, had to be in one of those. The 3, yeah, this is now a 3. This is cool, which looks over making this 2 and this 3. That was a beautiful deduction down here, by the way. The 2 looks down making this 1 and this 2. This is the sort of difficulty I think is just... Now, there still may be a sting in the tail of this puzzle, but this is beautiful. So far, this 5 looks over making this 9, which makes this 5. The 9 looks down making this 6 and this 9. I'm not through it yet. I have found that Akash's puzzles in the past, I've often been able to get a beautiful break in, and then the Sudoku at the end I find very tricky. But I am loving this so far. Right, this 6 looks up, meaning this is not 6. So this is 6, 7, or 8. Now I've got the 159. I still need to put an 8 in one of those 2. I've got to put a 6 in one of those 2. So what is this quadruple? 1, 6, 7, 8. That's actually done almost nothing. I just can't put a 6. No, I can put a 6 there. But I can't put a 6 there because if I put a 6 there, it sees both of those cells and I couldn't put a 6 on this diagonal. That's the 7, that's the 8, that's the 6, which takes 6 out of there. It doesn't mean this can't be a 6, but it does mean that can't be a 7 and that can't be an 8 or a 1. That is a 7. I take 7 out of both of those. That's really cool. I love the way they look over. It's almost like a quadruple trick. So right, this has to be from 1, 6, 8, or 9. This sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This right here is a 9, which means that's not a 9. This is now a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a 4, 5 pair. Okay. I've got my 2 3s. Don't have my 4 yet. Still need to put an 8 in one of those 2. The 7 in one of those 2. This 7 looks down, making this 8 and this 7. This is now a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 go in there. The 9 will make this the 6 and this the 9. The 6 looks back, making this 8 and this 6. The 8 looks across, meaning that's not 8. I kind of want to look at this triple. 1, 2, 3, 5. So these are 1, 3, and 5. There's no 1 here. In fact, this is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, the 8 makes this 3, which makes this 5, which makes this 1. This is now 7, and this better be 8 or I'm in trouble. That's 8, which means this is 1, which means this is 3, and this is 8. This is now a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 2 and 8, which means 8 comes out of there, which works for the 8 having to be up here. Now, I've got the 5 on this diagonal. I've got the 2, 4. Actually, what I'm going to do is, okay, I can't mark the corner, unfortunately, but I can say the 2, 4 is done. The 5, 7, 9 is done. The 5 is done. Anything in the corner is done as soon as I put the pencil marks in. The 3 and the 7 is done. The 3, 6, 9 is done. The 1, 2, 3 is done. The 4 and the 8 are done. The 4 is done because I've put the pencil marks in. In fact, I can go further and I can now resolve the 4 because that can't be the 4 because of that one. The 3, 3 is done. The 2, 4, 7 is done. The 1, 4, 9 is done. The 3, 5, 7 is done. The 3, 6 is done. The 4, 8 is done. The 1, 5, 9 is done. The 1, 2, 3 is done. The 4 and the 6 are done. The 2, 5 is done. The 2, 3, 8 are now done. The 4, 5, 6 is done. So all of the clues are done. So now it's just down to Sudoku. Cool. This 4 looks up making this the 5 and this the 4. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 8 and 9, and there's a 9 here. So that's the 8. That's the 9. This takes 8 out of here, so the 1, 6 pair in the box means that's the 8. This now has to be the 6 because of the diagonal clue. As I said, the pencil marks made it done. These are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, and 9. Well, I can't put 9 in the top row because of that one. So this is the 9. This is a 1, 2 pair looking across, making this the 6 and this the 1. The 6 looks down, making this the 1, and now I've got triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. This can't be the 6. This can't. Well, this is the 9 because I've got 9s looking at both of those. This is a 6, 7. The 7 here makes this 6 and this 7. This is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 looks down, making this 1 and this 7. The 1 looks up, making this 2 and this 1. I've now got pairs in the column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 6 here makes this 2 and this 6. The 2 looks back, making this 8 and this 2. And now I can just finish off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1741. Not sure what the time in the book was. I think I actually did pretty close, but the outside constraint is something I am very familiar with. Not the diagonal outside, but I actually am very familiar with outside logic, and maybe that helped me. Really, really loved this one. And this is an example of one of the hardest puzzles in the book. So, or one of the hardest puzzles in this set. So remember, as they go up in number, they go up in difficulty. So if you looked at this one and went, oh, that's an easy puzzle, you are going to find, but with some cool tricks and cool logic in it, you're going to find the book to be stunningly good for your difficulty range. You will just be able to open them up and there'll be 120 puzzles of just fun. They're just good fun. And I don't think you'll find them overly frustrating at all. So I highly recommend them. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Akash Doulani for sending the book through. I really do appreciate getting the preview so I could do this. I cannot recommend the book highly enough. Don't pay too much attention to the times. Don't try and compete against people who've been doing it for a lot longer than you. It's just not fun. And yeah, please check out the books. I know I keep saying that, so I'll stop now. Thank you, everyone. And as always, good luck with your solving.